Well, hey, folks, you'll have to bear with me. I don't feel so great today. I am off because I don't feel good. I've accrued enough sick days that I don't call in, but when I'm sick, I'm going to use it. Got to thinking about Candace Owens. I supported her. I thought that she was a pretty good human being. I liked her conservative stance. I liked her out-of-the-box African-American thinking. By out-of-the-box, meaning that you have a black woman who is not buying the Democrat hype. Now, I have my own problems. Many of you know me. Many of you may not agree with every dang thing I say. That's to be expected. I'm just a man who gets on here and rants. That's it. I'm not viral. I don't make money at it. I don't have raw talent. I have a dang thing. Just a heart to talk. Sometimes the Bible does say, in the abundance of words, sin abounds. There's truth to that. You meet people that talk and talk and talk and talk, and really they're saying nothing. I try when I get on here to say something intelligible and that people can grasp. I don't know a lot about Candace Owens. Her net worth is $3 million. I'm going to try this today. This is if I can read the Chinese. What is this stuff? Ginkgo tea. Trying to clear out my sinuses, so we'll see if this works. And then we'll have some of those. Some good old mussels and marinade sauce. Good stuff. A friend of mine in Detroit has forwarded me a couple things involving Mr. Crowder. He's going through a divorce. And if you watch any of those videos, his wife sounds like a real nitwit. I know it's not nice to say, I don't know her, but I watched the video where she made sure that everything was recorded. And when the talking stopped, she, overlaid over the video. After this, he did this, this, and this. Funny that the cameras didn't pick up any of that. I like a lot of what Crowder says. I don't listen to him all the time simply because I get busy and I get distracted. I listen to various people. But his wife, basically, she wanted to take the car and not give him a time when he would, have it back. And they have one car and people question that. Why is he doing that? Well, that's his business. And I've talked a lot about women, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. The dating scene today is deplorable. The dating scene is beyond repair and beyond salvage. You can get a date, but you're not going to get something that lasts. We're picking through junkyards today in the American dating scene. We're going, or a flea market. And flea markets used to be good back in the day, but now you go to a flea market, they've marked up stuff that should go in the trash. You're going through a junkyard and you find a door handle off a 57 Chev Bel Air. Cool. Where's the rest of the car? Candace Owens is a product of our market-driven world. Candace Owens is a glossy magazine photo op of a girl, a woman. And as we started to get behind her, I started to feel, before this Crowder thing, something in me said, be careful with Owens. Y'all remember what I said? And I know some people are going to have a problem with this, but let me say it. It needs to be stated. Be wary of snow globe people. For the video viewer's definition of a snow globe. If you're outside America or you're in another country, you don't know what it means, or you're a young generation that does know what this means. It's a glass globe that's sat on a pedestal, usually music boxes underneath it. But inside that glass could be a house and a little family or some little village, and you turned it upside down and shook it, and there was all this little fake snow that fell. Supposedly, Candace came out of poverty, lives in New York City, but she's not living the simple life. I'm sure she spends a lot on her wardrobe, and that's her right. But she's picking at Crowder. And what was Crowder's offense? That in the marriage he expected her to do things? What is it about our society that men no longer have rights anymore? Candace Owens fails to realize that, biblically speaking, women were not made for themselves. And God says, I will make a helper suitable for him. Now, that doesn't mean that every woman out there is my helper. We're in a different world today. We go to work with women. We go to work with other people's wives. We go to work with women that aren't married. You're not over them, but neither are they over you, except in the event that they're your boss, supervisor, manager. And that's dangerous ground to tread. That we men as Christians have to submit to female leadership, much of which is poor. You have women in the workplace today, in the public school system. They're man haters. And you got to submit to these people. Folks, you can't just go do your job anymore with this minefield of 21st century America. I'm experiencing that now. I had to contact the manager and write up 2 women I work with. Black, Democrat. One is miserable and unhappy and cannot exhibit any people skills. The other one is domineering, obnoxious, and cannot put herself in reverse. She just bowls over boundaries, bowls over people's culture, bowls over anybody that's not like her. I'm not a psychologist, but I analyze people and myself constantly. I've known what it feels like to question, man, I've lived 57 years to come to this. Where did I go wrong? I did a video on Facebook this morning. It's very sobering. Gordon Lightfoot passed away this last week. He was one of my all-time favorites. And there's a lot of people coming out, rest in peace. A lot of people making comments. That's my generation. There's new young puppies today that don't know anything about it, don't even know who he is. And I live in a 57% black dominant community. I don't believe any of them know who he is. They tend to be Afrocentric. They only listen to their black music. And me, I've listened to their music and my music and Philippines, and I laugh when I hear blacks using the word diversity, and I said, man, I'm more diverse than you are. And they look at me like, huh, that's impossible. Diversity is not defined because you're black. Diversity is you, and it is me, and it's she, and it's him, and it's all around the globe, man. I'm diverse even among white males. You're not going to meet too many men like me. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not accepted by a lot of people. A lot of macho men that have the macho complex, they're not going to feel comfortable around me. Why? Well, I wear glasses, I'm smaller build, whatever, a variety of reasons. But back to Candace Owens. Candace Owens immediately takes the side of Crowder's wife. And that's disturbing. I'm presently in a situation where I had to write a black female manager about 2 black females that are acting inappropriately and wrong in my work. And my mind is going, oh, that's going to go over real good. The women are getting revenge on us, folks. They gang up together. They're like hens in a hen house. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with this. One of them is in clear violations of workplace procedures and policy. But we've seen it. We've seen this many, many times, folks. We've seen a lot of people today that get away with murder. It's interesting to watch our media right now. They're talking about this shooting, and of course, Joe Biden has wasted no time in pimping this as another reason for gun control. What Biden doesn't realize is it took guns to take him out too. But that was a Mexican who shot all those people the other day in Texas. I'm curious, why doesn't the media say Mexican? But when a white guy does it, we know what happens. A white male did this. It happens all day long. For Candace Owens to take the side of a female without knowing all the facts, Candace Owens should know better. There are marriages that have a culture. There are families that have a culture. And there is no rule anywhere that says that this family must follow the protocol of other families. And when a man and a woman marry, they have rules and they have things for their households that other households might not have. When Crowder married his wife, Crowder's being the man and he's not being a simp. But watch what she does. I don't know what all the circumstances are, what she brought in the marriage, but I'm sure she'll try to clean them out. I don't know what Crowder saw in this woman. I don't know what most men see in most of the women in our society today, to be honest with you. They're a liability. Women have been emasculated. But I wanted to say something really more than go on about Candace. I think Candace Owens has had her day in the limelight. She's showing us that conservatives, Republicans, they're losing it. They can't stand up. They cannot stand up and stem the tide of this liberalism, which is really overtaking everything. They're mamby-pamby. I'm going to tell you something. When you stand on truth, you are going to get crucified, literally or figuratively. You could get crucified in your job. by people that know you. Bible says that darkness hates the light. Men love darkness rather than light, lest their deeds be exposed. Look at what the Democrat left did to Donald Trump. The complete hatred. Kangaroo court. Indicting him. Does anybody remember what Bill Clinton did? Nothing happened. I don't want Trump to win because Trump exposed something that none of the other politicians would talk about, including George Bush. The corruption in Washington is deep and wide. Now that's messed up. They hate him. The black woman I worked with referred to him as an asshole repeatedly. You know I'm bold on here. But in the workplace, I can't just turn around and fire back and say, yeah, well, so is Obama, so is Michelle Obama, so is Oprah. You can call Trump an asshole, but let a white man call your revered black leaders an asshole, and boy, they ain't going to put up with that. And I asked her, tell me what he did to you. And you get the like somebody trying to start an outboard boat motor, but you don't get anything tangible. It's called hatred. And one of the things that befuddles me is watching black women claiming to be Christians throwing all of their weight into the Democrat left. I didn't talk about this a lot on Pacific Ocean Asia, but I'm more centered on politics than just the women issue. The woman issue's old hat. We all know what's out there. We're beyond MGTOW. We're beyond. There's women speaking out about the way women are in this country, and they're speaking the truth. The only ones that don't see what we're talking about are the ones that are guilty of all of the above. I'm amazed at the massive OCD over pets. Commercial after commercial after commercial. Science did that. You're looking at major news events. 3 dogs rescued from a burning building. Everybody hearts it. Everybody likes it. There's something wrong with the country and the people that's worried about a dog in a burning building, but not a baby in the womb. Let that sink in. Women coldly, cruelly, and without heart and conviction will say it's my body, my choice. But you take that same woman, she'll get all sad that somebody ran over a squirrel or that somebody abused a dog. I remember one at a place I worked. She was a Hispanic female. She had just started out in Colorado years ago. I didn't like her. She was not nice. She had issues. I was sitting there laughing and talking with another employee, and we were joking around about something, and She looked over at me and says, "You're on one." I said, "Excuse me?" "You heard what I said." I said, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about." Very rude, demeaning. I regret that I turn around and say, "You want to talk rude to me? Let's go in the office. Let's go take this to management and find out what your issue is." I'm having a conversation with somebody. Everybody's having a conversation. Whatever you don't like about me, that's your effing problem. Get away from me. But I'm careful in the workplace. And one day she comes in there with her pink hoodie, puts her hands behind her head. And I looked at somebody and said, "Check that out." No, it wasn't sweat. It was black under here. I should have said, "Boy, those pit stains look great on that jacket, babe." But what would happen if a man said that in the workplace? You know what would happen. Women have an ego that doesn't quit. I'm dealing with that now. Except this one is in Jesus. This one is offensive. This one thinks that everything she does is anointed, and she walks in the spirit, and she's loud and she's obnoxious, and she bowls over me and bowls over anybody. I mean, there's nothing there. We're all different. Some of you may not have the problem I'm talking about. In some ways, that's why it's better to go into business for yourself. You got a crappy customer and you're tired of them, you can just cut them off and say, "You know what, I'm not going to service your yard or do your handyman stuff. I don't want to deal with you." When you work for an employer, you have to watch it constantly. And in these days in America, the job place is tough. I was lamenting the fact. You look at jobs out there at my age and what's out there. You got Walmart, Amazon, all crappy jobs. These are box, superstructure mentalities that you're not going to get to go in there and be yourself. You're a programmed automaton for Bezos or Walmart. And it's sad. I like more personality. I like more passion. Google, Facebook, YouTube are fortress corporations. The drawbridges are up. No one can contact customer service at all. You call on your cable company. You call on anybody. It's funny how quick the reception, they got lines open to take your money and hook you up on something. But when you have a problem, "We're sorry, but we have an unusually higher than normal call volume." But you always got enough to answer it when the money's rolling in. You think Americans are stupid? You're right. A lot of them are, but a lot of us aren't. And we're sick of it. All the lies, all the little infomercials while you're waiting on the phone. Because we care. It's funny. There's a towing company I saw on the side towing at its finest. And I think of finest like fine dining, fine wines, a tow truck. You see some greasy, sweaty guy in mechanical overalls get out and run a couple levers and pull this wrecked car up. Interesting. You see trucks go down the road. Logistics, seamless solutions. Everybody copies and gets on the bandwagon. There's no passion or individuality anymore. I think I started to talk about this yesterday. A guy worked for Amazon and over the course of 6 months stole every package that he checked in on his handheld computer and took a picture of it on the porch, then picked it up and took it back to the truck. Took all his stuff to his warehouse and sold it all and bought himself a Lamborghini. The fact that somebody was that creative enough to get a job and to do all that just blows the mind. But we're being squeezed into this world's mold. If you're not careful, if you don't see it. Look at how they got us off of landlines. I said I was never going to have a cell phone. Now I don't have a landline. You want a job? You want something? Right here. No more yellow pages. No more going and getting a paper application and filling it out. You want to clock in, you can do it on your phone. You want to check your pay stub, you can do it on your phone. You want to check your hours, you can do it on your phone. You know, everybody likes that, but it's also sobering. We're losing something. And yet you got people crying out, acting out. Our society is unhinged. And back to Candace Owens. She doesn't run in my world, and I don't run in hers. She's younger than me, and she's worth $3 million. For what? For talking? It's amazing who gets paid to speak. Tucker Carlson lost his job, and he spoke the truth about a lot of things. And Fox got rid of him. Why are we surprised? Their ratings crashed, the money stopped, but Fox knows what they're doing. Budweiser wanted to test the waters by putting a tranny on the can, and that tanked them into the basement real quick, and now they're trying to do damage control. But the hoofbeats of darkness is approaching. And I posted the thumbnail picture on this video of 3 people being crucified. The one's supposed to be Christ, the other were 2 common criminals. And that's what we all have to remember. We don't know what's going to happen. We do not know what's going to happen. But we know God holds it in his hand. It may not go the way we think it ought to go. We as Christians in America don't like the idea of suffering and martyrdom, but it could come. In some ways, it's already happening. It's interesting that Noah had built the ark, and it says God shut him in. And from what I read from a little lesson online this morning, sealed him. He can seal us in the midst of all that's going on and protect us and take care of us. It looks bleak. It looks questionable at times, but guess what? He's God. He can do that. It's easy to lose our focus. Our country, the media, our news gets us wound up and riled up. They're going to focus on the person that ran over 8 illegals or 7 illegals, but they won't call out the fact that it was a Mexican that shot up in a mall or shopping area. The news is no longer the news. It's KGB-controlled TV. And when people started getting on social media with the truth, that's when fact checkers showed up. And they're not fact checkers, they're fact chuckers. Change one letter in there, and it changes everything. You bring up the facts, they chuck them. It's a form of control. It's Orwellian. It's 1984. It's Animal Farm. Both of those books have been basically put on a banned list by the left. I wonder why. When you start speaking truth, when you call the left a swamp, they will never leave Donald Trump alone until he's in the grave. And even then, they might desecrate it. It's funny, everybody liked Trump when he was rich. Blacks wanted their pictures taken with him. When he ran and he said, I'm going to drain the swamp, he put a target on his back. Candace Owens pandering to Crowder's wife is nothing short of sickening. You're not in the marriage, Toots. Stay out of it. And this idea that we men have to let our women do whatever they want, I don't agree with that. The Bible says a husband is the head of his house, and a wife should be in subjection or submissive to her husband. That's not happening today, folks. Women are all about flexing their muscle, and look at what they've done to their clothing and their hair. They still can't get it right. You put them in a car and they can't drive that right, and they're texting while they're driving and doing dumb stuff. We're going to give them control as supervisors and bosses too? What are you, nuts? Yeah, we are. And Candace Owens is going to take the side of Crowder's wife? This is what happens when people get big. Their ego becomes this, I'm the standard. Everybody likes me, so I'm going to comment on that too. Be careful, Candace. You're playing into the hands of the enemy on that one. But she doesn't listen to this stuff. I don't wear the right clothes. I don't have the $3 million lifestyle. And that right there, folks, is what we need to look at when we talk about these leaders and politicians. They're not talking to us. They're telling you what you need to buy and do and how you think. Sad, isn't it? Be careful about Candace. She's acting like a lot of Republicans are, vacillating. I'm going to defend men before I defend these women today. I've seen enough. And I can't get behind most of these women today. America has taken something out of ladies and femininity and transmogrified women into monsters. Why are we going to take that as our cue card? It don't make no sense. When you stand on truth, you're going to be hated. You're going to be attacked. That's why I was attacked. People don't like truth. And they will shoot the messenger because they're evil. Because they feel convicted, because they're being exposed and they don't like it. But thank you for listening. Specific, signing off.